In the sweltering summer of 2003, France was seized by a heatwave of unprecedented severity. The country, renowned for its picturesque landscapes and cool breezy springs, was suddenly thrust into an inferno. The mercury began to climb, as if on a relentless mission, and the people of France could do nothing but watch in disbelief. The air was thick with heat, and it seemed as though the sun itself had descended upon the nation. The initial reactions were of confusion and discomfort. As temperatures continued to escalate, the discomfort turned into a palpable fear. The scorching heat was relentless, showing no signs of reprieve. The nights offered no solace either, as the heat lingered, making sleep a distant dream for many. The catastrophic effects of the heat wave were felt most acutely by the elderly population. With their bodies unable to cope with the extreme temperatures, they fell victim to this unforgiving heat wave in droves, marking the beginning of a national crisis. France, a country known for its romantic allure, was now in the grip of a deadly heat wave. As the mercury soared, so did the number of casualties. The heat wave that held France in its sweltering grip was not just a weather phenomenon, it was a silent, invisible killer. Day by day, the death toll rose alarmingly. The relentless heat, especially grueling for the elderly and those with chronic illnesses, led to a rapid increase in fatalities. The healthcare system, unprepared for such a sudden and drastic onslaught, was overwhelmed. Hospitals and clinics were inundated with patients suffering from heat stroke, dehydration, and related complications. Doctors and nurses worked tirelessly round the clock in an attempt to save as many lives as possible. Yet despite their heroic efforts, the number of deaths continued to climb. What shocked the nation and the world was the grim reality that the morgues were unable to keep up with the influx of bodies. The infrastructure, designed for normal circumstances, was woefully inadequate to handle the crisis. Refrigerated warehouses and even gymnasiums were repurposed as temporary morgues, a chilling testament to the severity of the situation. The government's response was swift but met with criticism. While measures were taken to mitigate the crisis, many felt they were too little, too late. The public's reaction was a mix of fear, anger, and grief. Protests erupted, demanding better preparation for such disasters in the future, and a more robust healthcare system capable of handling such crises. The toll of the heat wave was not just a number, it was a nation in mourning. Each count represented a life lost, a family shattered, a community in grief. The 2003 heat wave will forever be etched in the annals of France's history, as a grim reminder of the devastating power of nature and the urgent need for preparedness and resilience. This wasn't just a freak weather event, it was a stark reminder of our changing climate. So, what's the link between the ruthless heat wave of 2003 and global warming? Well, let me break it down for you. You see, scientists have been sounding the alarm bells about climate change for decades. The Earth's average temperature is gradually increasing, and this isn't just causing warmer summers. It's leading to more frequent and intense extreme weather events, such as the terrifying heat wave that swept across France in 2003. Now you might wonder how scientists can be so sure about this connection. The answer lies in the meticulous research and advanced climate models that they use. These models take into account a multitude of factors, including greenhouse gas concentrations, solar radiation, and even tiny particles in the atmosphere known as aerosols. When these models are run with historical data, they can accurately reproduce past climate patterns. But when they're run with future projections of greenhouse gas emissions, they predict a world with more heat waves, more droughts, and more extreme weather events. In fact, a recent analysis by the UK's Met Office Hadley Centre suggests that the record-breaking heat experienced in Europe could become the average summer by 2035. That's just 12 years from now. This analysis is a stark reminder of the urgent need for countries to go beyond their pledges under the Paris Agreement and take drastic measures to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. What's even more alarming is that even if we manage to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius, as stipulated in the Paris Agreement, we're still likely to see an increase in the frequency and intensity of extreme weather events. This means that we need to not only cut emissions but also prepare for a world where such events could become the norm. The 2003 heat wave was a wake-up call, a glimpse into a future where such events could become the norm. One voice rose above the rest, demanding action, the voice of Greta Thunberg. Greta Thunberg, a Swedish teenager, emerged as a beacon of hope amidst the climate crisis. At an age when most of us were grappling with high school problems, Greta was busy shaking the world's conscience. Her Fridays for Future movement began as a solo protest outside the Swedish parliament, a silent plea for climate justice. But it wasn't long before her solitary strike sparked a global movement. Her message, potent and clear, reverberated in corridors of power and through city streets, urging everyone to recognize the urgency of the climate crisis. She famously declared, "Our house is on fire," a stark call out to the world that our planet is burning, and we're running out of time to douse the flames. Thunberg's influence transcended borders and generations. From teenagers to adults, people all over the world were inspired by her courage, her conviction, and her dedication to the cause. Her speeches at the United Nations Climate Action Summit and World Economic Forum not only challenged world leaders, but also awakened millions to the reality of climate change. But what makes Greta's voice so compelling? It's her unwavering insistence on the truth, her refusal to sugarcoat the harsh realities of the climate crisis. She doesn't mince words, and that's what makes her message so powerful. She implores us to listen to the scientists, to look at the data, and to understand the dire consequences if we fail to act. Greta's plea is simple: we must act now to prevent future catastrophes. The 2003 heat wave was a tragic event that shook France to its core. We've traversed through the unbearable temperatures, the heartbreaking death toll, and the undeniable connection to global warming. We've also highlighted Greta Thunberg's relentless fight for change, a beacon of hope in these challenging times. Each piece of this story serves as a stark reminder of the urgency of climate action. Remember, by understanding our past, we can pave the way for a better, safer future. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like if you found this video informative.